I'm about to sell my soul to corporate America. Get ready with me for a job interview. Okay, so as you may or may not know, I'm a college student. I'm home for the summer now, which means your girl needs to make some serious money. So I applied to like 20 places in my local area. I already have a job, but I don't know how regular the hours will be because I like cater for events kind of thing. Like I'm working events. So it's not a regular schedule. So I applied to a couple jobs and now I'm interviewing at a restaurant. This is Ella, by the way. I just took an everything shower after working out because I was trying to mentally prepare, you know, get some endorphins running, get some coffee in me, be up for a few hours before of Ella. Okay. Yeah, I washed my face in the shower. That was Sarah Vet. Now, rubbing aloe gel all over me. She calms the skin down, makes her less red because, as you can see, got a couple breakouts. I'm going to cover them with makeup. This is the Bioma Milky Toner. I've on my first bottle of this, but I really like it. I think I will rebuy. Feels very moisturizing. I feel like it has helped with acne scarring and hyperpigmentation because I used to get it a lot on my cheek and now it's like, it's little. Like this is an active pimple. It was popped this morning. So like, don't use her to judge. But like there's way less scarring. So I'm happy with that. But overall, I feel like my skin is looking pretty good. Especially since I just ended my period. Like, what can you expect? This is the Bioma Brightening Serum, the niacinamide hyaluronic acid. Because I used to get the ordinary ones, but then I'd pay like $15 per each bottle. And then I saw videos saying they're not even properly balanced. And I heard really good things about Bioma, so here we are. This might also be contributing to my decrease in scarring. So I like both these products. And then I have the CeraVe Daily Moisturizing Lotion. I don't even know how long I've been using this, like probably 3 years. Big fan of her. She's very nice. She's like a thicker moisturizer, which I like. I like to feel really, really good, really moisturized, really bouncy. Also, I hate when influencers go like this. You're just poking fat in your face. Like, what does that do? You've had buccal fat removal, of course. But you know, whatever. It's not really doing anything. Let's be so real. I want to make sure I get all the little crevices and then I bring it down to my neck. If I remember, I try to bring all my serums and stuff down to my neck too, but sometimes I forget. The moisturizer is the most important one. And sunscreen, which is next. Sorry, I forgot to put the cap back on this. I use the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer 30 SPF every day. So that is why I'm quite pale. Sun with no protection can lead to more hyperpigmentation, which I used to have worse than I do now. I was really self-conscious about it for a really long time, and it took me a while to try to build up to figure out how to stop that. But I went to my friend who's an esthetician, and she was like, girl, 15 SPF isn't going to cut it. So here we are with 30. Be getting it on all your crevices and such. Bring it down here. And then I have the Neutrogena On The Spot Acne Treatment. I'm going to put it on some of the breakouts. Because again, I popped them last night and then I've got some on my jawline right now, which is really annoying. I popped some last night and then I pimple patched them and then I like re-popped this morning. I definitely have skin picking tendencies. I actually take supplements to make me stop doing that because I tend to pick at my skin and pull out my eyebrows and eyelashes. Looks like I'm breaking out a little bit here. I've recently started working out. Like this was not a thing. I've done it twice this week after doing it on and off. So I'm kind of wondering if me regularly sweating is making me break out, but I also did just get off my period. So like, whatever. Like we're trying to rebuild my skin right now. This feels like a lot of products. I promise most of them last a really long time, so it's pretty inexpensive. And honestly, you could cut out any of these steps. These are just ones I like. And then I have an adapalene gel for acne scarring and just acne in general. I'm gonna put that on some of our more problem areas. I find this one is way less drying versus the other one, like the Neutrogena one, does like take a toll on your skin if you keep putting it in the same area for a few days in a row. Like she'll start to get dry and crusty and then makeup won't stick to that spot at all. So it makes the problem worse. And I've heard from dermatologists that adapalene is like one of the better ones. So hopefully I'm doing that right. It seems to be working for me. This is also a product I've probably used for the last few years. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. So yeah, just Oh, I just itched my nose and I thought about this. The job I'm applying for, so I would be a server at a restaurant, which I've done. Like, I have dining room experience. But the thing is, my biggest concern, honestly, is they were like, only 2 ear piercings. I have my triples, I have a conch, I have 2 helix, I have a forward helix, triples over here, and a nose piercing. I don't know what they're going to say about any of those, because each piercing probably averages $100 per. So I'm not about to take these out. I'm not losing money for this, and I'm not getting re-pierced, because re-pierced on scar tissue is supposed to be more painful. And like, I'm not going through that. I'm not wasting $600. Okay, and this is the CeraVe eye cream, because your girl's got eye bags. I have found that putting this on at night makes me look more awake in the morning, but as a makeup girly, you stare at your face a lot, so you kind of get self-conscious about little things like that. And not speaking from experience at all, because I've never been depressed in my life, but if you cried yourself to sleep a night before, this is fantastic in the morning. Helps her up. Not that I know. My skin is not perfect, and I need y'all to know that from the beginning. Not perfect, but I'm working on it. Yeah. Alrighty, y'all. Here's what you missed since I cut the camera. I popped some pimples because what do I have? Self-destructive tendencies. And I also did pimple stones. And then I did laser hair removal, and then I got dressed. Do you get to see any of those steps? No. Why? Because it's not that type of channel. Now, if you've been paying attention, and gold story for you people, the job that I'm interviewing for only allows 2 ear piercings. And I said before, I'm not taking those bitches out. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna wear our hair down for the interview so they don't immediately see them. I have wavy hair, so wetting that again because it took my sweet time to get to this point. Brush her out. And this is the last time we're gonna brush our hair. Why? Because you don't brush wavy hair. Don't brush curly hair. Once she's dry. So now I have this heat protectant blow dry frizz control from Nexus. I'm gonna take a squirt. Oh, you didn't see that. Okay, take a little bit of that. We're gonna take some leave-in. I'm gonna get some squirts in there, and I'm gonna flip, and I'm gonna get it all up in there. Why? Because we're gonna diffuse later, and we're gonna use heat. And I would like my hair to not burn and fall off my head. So let's just rake it on in there. Get it nice and moist. I don't know, saturated. This is not Brad Mondo, in case you can't tell. Right. Also, here's my interview fit. Both of these are Old Navy and this is Target. Like, you do not, it's okay. You can buy professional wear. Wait for Old Navy to have like a big sale in the fall. That's where I get my stuff. So yeah, I'm worried. It's okay if you don't look like you're full of onesie when you're working a service job. The thing is, unfortunately, when you work a service job, you have to be like somewhat attractive for that, for like people to want to interact with you. Like, I've learned from past jobs, this is curl job by the way, I've learned from past experiences on the days that I didn't wear makeup on the job or something when I've been serving, people are generally ruder to me and they generally tip me less. So unfortunately, you do have to appeal to the customers and your managers. And that's what we call selling your soul. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but in most cases, you probably gotta change your appearance a little bit if you are gay or full of whimsy or emo or goth or cool. Okay, now this is some curl mousse from, who is this? Shea Moisture. Frizz-free curl mousse. It's not as thick as my other mousses that I've tried, but I haven't had any horrible, you didn't see that fall either. I'm gonna have to re-clean my floor. All right, scrunching that in. Getting her up in there. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with gas. There's some waves there. They come out better when we dry. And I like to start by scrunching with like a soft t-shirt. I thrifted this for like $2. I just went and I found like a soft little cotton t-shirt, and that's what we're using. Why? Because I don't like the texture of like Gildan t-shirts. I like the soft ones. So we're just gonna scrunch, and there's some. And now I'm gonna diffuse, but only till it's like half dry. And we're gonna let it dry the rest of the way while we do makeup, okay? So yeah, I have my Ion diffuser. She's cute. We're gonna pump her up. We're not scared of heat. little comb. I'm just gonna part her. This is probably a little finer tooth than you would want. I just can't find my wider tooth comb right now, so we're just going with it. Get a loose part. To me personally, I part the middle. I don't know where you guys part. Do that. You're gonna take a claw clip. You're gonna flip your hair just a little bit back, like so, and you're gonna place it on the part. And you walk around like this. It helps. After this, like this helps dry because it separates some of the hair. And then once it's dry, do your bangs. It's fine. You're cool. It's okay. It's okay, baby girl. Don't you even worry about it, all right? Now, we're gonna go do our makeup. All right, now let's get on to makeup. So what we're trying to do is essentially just do professional looking makeup that looks like a straight man couldn't clock it. This is not a natural makeup look. This is not a no makeup look. If that's what you want, you're in the wrong video, girly pop. But what we are gonna do is confuse a simple straight man, okay? Okay. So first, I'm gonna take my setting spray. This is my holy grail. I love her. I've been using her 4 years, I don't know. Drench. I'm gonna take a concealer. I like this Tower 28 serum concealer. I don't think it makes my breakouts worse, which is really nice. Really big fan of that. And it blends out really nicely, and I feel like it has a good finish. Overall, big fan. Now, it's not quite my shade because I'm paler than I thought I was. The last time I got a shade match, it was in the summer, and I think that's why. However, we can make it work. Why? Because we're still using full coverage products, all right? Still gonna use those. So I'm gonna spot conceal. And if any of you are like, you're putting the doe foot on your face, shut up. Putting rock. Now, I've spot concealed. I haven't blended anything in, all right? Now I'm gonna just swab some on my hand. And I saw somewhere that the palm of your hand absorbs less than like the back of your hand. And then I'm gonna take a concealer brush and we're just gonna really get her in there, all right? Really soak her up. Is this gonna make your brush really hard to wash later? Yes. Is this gonna make your makeup easier to do? Yes. So, you know, it's a little trade-off. Now let's see, let's start down here. We're just gonna blot her in. Now, the beauty of what we've just done is we put a fair amount of concealer on her face, but then we also put it in the brush, so the brush will not take any away because the brush is also trying to apply it, which means it's kind of like how you wet your beauty blender so it doesn't absorb anything. Your brush isn't gonna just wipe it off because it's on both places. So this allows you to get a really solid blend. Now, if you're worried that you have too much concealer on your face, it's okay. It won't look like a lot of concealer. I personally have a lot of breakouts right now, and I'm trying to cover that shit. So if you want a little less concealer, skip the first step and just put on your hand and rub it around. When I am breaking out less, that's what I do. However, there's a lot of redness on my face. So a little extra concealer isn't gonna hurt anyone, all right? Notice how I didn't go under my eyes yet? Yeah, we're gonna wait a second, all right? So keep blending her out. You just don't want any harsh lines because sometimes those peek through our next product, because I like to do a thicker concealer underneath and then kind of a lighter top base so that overall it looks like I'm wearing less makeup. I'm used to like someone who doesn't know makeup, looks like less. Now I'm gonna whip out the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. Now I do not like this concealer. I'm not a big fan. I've heard the one with hyaluronic acid is better. Not a big fan because it dries very fast, it creases, it collects product. Overall, not my fave. However, you know what else isn't my fave? Wasted makeup. So I'm gonna use it. So here's what I do. I'm gonna mix it into what's already in my hand. This is our cute little palette. Mix it. We're gonna do a dot here, and I know it looks super white, but you just gotta trust me here. So yeah, we're just gonna brighten around here. And if you have any acne on the borders of your face, don't worry about it. If your hair's down, like no one's gonna see it anyway. Blend right out. And you're gonna wanna go this way too, because it settles into your creases, because your creases kind of run this way. So go back the other way. This meant it helps to keep you from creasing and to keep it from setting in. And then I like to take some over my eyelid as well. Now, we're gonna take a full coverage foundation because I want this to look flawless when I'm in there, all right? I don't want it to look greasy. So this is the Maybelline Matte. I think this is Fit Me. Yeah, this is Fit Me. Also big fan of the Super Stay Concealer. I've never tried the foundation, but I loved the concealer and then my Target stopped selling it. So I don't know what to do about that, but fantastic product. but I'm a big fan of Maybelline too, and I've heard that's a pretty general consensus. I trust the other makeup gurus. Now, we were rubbing that into our brush the same way we did our concealer. I believe it was, her name's Katie Hughes. She's a makeup artist on TikTok, super cool. I don't know if she has YouTube. I will find it and try to tag her on this. But her foundation technique is just really getting it in there and blotting it on. And she always says to pat, not to swipe, which I totally agree with, because if I'm trying to cover things, the swipe normally takes it off. We're trying to build layers. That's the beauty in both skincare and makeup. That's how you layer things. And don't forget to bring it down your neck. We're not trying to look like a chav. And now you people might go, Abby, you didn't do brows. You're right, I haven't done them yet. Give me a minute. I currently don't have any brow gel because the last one I've used, I've tried a few different ones, and they all got super goopy about halfway through, so I couldn't even finish the bottle. And that really pissed me off. And I don't want to keep doing that. So I haven't bought any more. So we just have brow pomade. It's this little elf guy. I don't even know how much I bought it for. It was cheap though. And it comes in this little container. There's a lot of product in here. Like, you can use her for a good amount of time. I'm gonna take a little spoolie. I'm just gonna underline this part. We're gonna take it back here. The reason I do it right now is because my foundation and my concealer are still wet, so I can blur out my eyebrow around. Clean it up now, sculpt a little bit. Oh good, it doesn't require that like prior like matching of your face and like sculpting that. You can just blend around. And it gives you a more natural but filled brow, in my opinion. Glowy. Okay, now I see a couple spots coming up. I would like to cover them. Now remember, my hand is covered in product. Ignore that, that was me wiping off brow pomade a little bit. Hand's already covered in product. That's great. I'll rub this back on in there. And do a little spot conceal. Down. You might be going, Abby, that looks a little cakey. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. Let her cook. I don't have any more of those little fan things, so we're just gonna... Listen, at this point, you don't want to touch your face because everything is real wet right now because we doused our whole fucking face, which was the point. Don't think you did it wrong. You didn't. Then you might have to reset your eye under here. And I didn't put powder in there because sometimes that messes with your cream blush. And I am a big cream blush girly. So, she's all set in there. Now, the rest of our face is chilling out. We're gonna do some eyeshadow. Keep it classy. This is the Morphe Matte Palette, Matte Essentials. I'm gonna take a little brush. I think this is the Ulta collection. Nothing bougie here. We're just gonna right on in there. And this was like the second lightest shade. Like there's white and then there's this. And that's how I set. But go with whatever is closest to your skin tone. Because if it's super light, you can see it. Like, it doesn't look natural. So match your skin tone best you can. This is closest to me because I am a pasty bitch. The beautiful thing is we already used that concealer on our eyelid to prep it, like to prime it. BT dubs, I don't like primer. I don't think it's useful. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think she's conducive to our journey that we are on. That is why I use setting spray for everything, okay? Okay, I took like a neutral brown shade. I'm gonna work it. I put it on the corner and then I kind of blend her on in because I don't want to do a crazy wing today, all right? I might do a little bit of a wing. We'll see how this takes me because I feel like my face looks weird without it. So I normally will go, oh, I don't want to do a wing, and I'll end up doing a wing. So I'm not going to say that. However, what I'm not going to do is a black liquid eyeliner wing. We have a nice little graceful reaching out of the powder from our eye. I'm going to darken the crease, add a little depth, but nothing crazy. Really just blend. You really can't over blend unless you're trying to do blocky colors. So just keep blending until you flat out can't see where the lines of the colors went. Because if you can see them, you've been clocked. Now I'm going to take a little white eyeshadow. I'm just going to make sure, keep this nice and bright up here, all right? I'm going to take a little bit more brown. I'm going to do the other eye the exact same way. Normally, my first eye, when I do makeup, takes longer than my second because I'm trying to plot out what I do. I don't really go in with a plan. I might know, oh, I want to do brown, but if you've ever seen this palette before, it's all brown. So I kind of already know what I'm doing. I just have to match it. So we're gonna build this up a little bit, kind of crease a little darker, add some depth, nothing crazy, nothing out of this world. And up, again, I keep all these products, I don't set my under eyes yet, so I can continue to use my concealer to fix any eyeshadow mistakes. If I go a little bit off the grid with my eyeshadow, I can just fix her up with a little bit of concealer. Now I have hooded eyes, so I don't really have a lot to I don't really have a lot of work to do on here because you're not gonna see most of it when I start open. So do with that what you will. Again, we're not going for anything crazy, and the wing's gonna be tiny, so like I'm not really worried. I'm gonna darken the crease a little bit, give my hooded eyes a little something, a little dimension before it recedes into my face. And I just like to get a cool one for this because a cool brown will look more like a shadow. A warm brown will look like bronzer. I don't really like bronzer. I think I'm just simply so pale that bronzer will never look natural on me. Some girls look super bronzed, beautiful. I don't. Now we're gonna take a little liquid contour. This is the She Glam one. It's not very expensive. I don't remember how it was, but I think it was under 10 bucks. I got it on Amazon though, so that could change. Anyways, so I can do face. Actually, wait, no, I have a better technique than this. Take a little bit of a light concealer. Then we're gonna draw from here down to the corner of your lip, from the base of your nose, over there. When I want to make sure to place it. And also, if I'm breaking out of my cheeks, that extra concealer really adds some coverage. And then, ignore that. And then once you add the contour in, the change in shades distracts from any texture in your face. Okay, now we're going to take contour brush. Again, this is part of the Ulta collection. We're just going to keep blending that out until you can't see it anymore. And I always do it just a little bit under my jawline and bring it up because you want it on your jawline so it doesn't look like this is super concave, but you also don't want it too high that it looks like a 5 o'clock shadow. Blend that in. It's okay if you use your contour brush to get this too. Why? Because at least with the e.l.f. one, it is so thick. It won't matter. If there's already dark product on your brush, won't matter. It'll cover. Do we see? Do we see? It's a nice contour. It's cute. Nothing crazy. I don't look scary. I don't look super sculpted. I don't look like this is meant for pictures. And that's the thing. A lot of makeup packs are used to look good in pictures, which is all well and good until you're a real person trying to wear it outside. Now, I just accidentally blotted over my eyeshadow a little bit, but that's not a concern because we kind of knew that. That's why I didn't do my wing yet. We just kind of made that shape. And oh, I went out of the lines. Oh no. The lines. Fixed. Done. It's okay. It's cool. I think the secret to being good at anything is not doing it perfectly the first time. It's knowing how to fix it when you mess up. I really think that's when you know. Like, oh, people always are like, oh yeah, you really understand something, well, you can teach it. Yeah, but if something goes wrong and you don't know how to fix it, you don't really understand it. Now, I'm going to take my Patrick Ta little duo blush. Pretend that didn't just close on me. And I just got this new Morphe brush. Never used her before. So, because I was using an e.l.f. one, but the e.l.f. ones, e.l.f. brushes are not inherently bad. Please know that I'm not saying that. But the bristles are definitely real synthetic, and they get weird feeling after a bit. All right. Might have been too much. I don't know. I've never used this brush. But, again, we can correct if necessary. This is definitely the style of brush he uses, though, because this is a lot more precise than the other one I had. The other one I had was a lot more circular, and I think that kind of made my whole cheek always get blushed. So this is a little more precise. That's really pretty, though. Oh, wait, I like this brush a lot. I've heard that Morphe is known for its brushes. It's also known for not paying people it collabs with. So, you know, you always want a dense brush for your cream products. And then you want like a fluffy one for powder, okay? And now I know that I look a little greasy right now. Now we're on the set. Now it's the moment we've been waiting for. Everyone breathe. Take a little puff. I don't know what brand this is. I got like an 8-pack from Amazon. I take my Maybelline Fit Me. This is the, what is it called? It's like the packed powder. Pressed powder. It's called a pressed powder. This is the Maybelline pressed powder. I have the loose one. Never used her before. I just bought it yesterday from Ulta. So, hyped for that. I've heard it's amazing. But I'm okay with this for now. And for anyone who's like, oh, Abby, that blush was a duo. Where's the powder? Would you give me a minute, please? We're gonna set everything. I never set over top my cheek. Why? Because we do that with our powdered blush. That way, we still keep our cheek glowy, and we keep our blush in place with blush itself, so we don't lose any pigment. We're gonna take a brown gel liner. We're gonna go a little bit in the waterline. So it's kind of weird to talk and draw in your waterline at the same time. Then we're just gonna extend a line straight from the, like, where your eyelids meet, the upper and the lower. Just straight from. We're not trying to do it super snatchy. We're just trying to elongate our eye a little bit. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. Gel is really forgiving in eyeliner, which is why I like it. So you can go under, like this one has a little blendy guy. And then I like to take some sort of brush. So this is an angled one, that's fine. It can also be like one of the little rounded ones. No biggie. Put some brown eyeshadow on there, and we're gonna set our wing. Again, you're not gonna blend too much. You can kind of just keep going. And remember, this brush had white and like our peach color on it, so it's perfect for any corrections you need to make. Okay? Okay? Now I'm gonna take the telescopic mascara. I'm gonna get her on in there. This one's a very good, like, natural one. I think she's cute. I've never used the brown one before. This one's black. But I don't think it looks crazy. I bet the brown one looks super natural though. So I would check that out, and I'm not against checking it out in the future. Maybe you're watching this and going, Abby, you look like a freak. What are you doing? And to that I say, hey. I'm gonna bust out my Patrick Taw again. I know I've only done one eye, okay? I feel like you don't really... Ooh, you wanna throw my brush? Okay. I feel like you don't really need to see an in-depth tutorial on both eyes, because I just did it. Now we're gonna tap off the excess, because this is pigmented, but that's okay. We like pigmented. Oh, there's hair all up all over my face. Normally I have a makeup headband, but I need to keep my hair down and style it after this because I got out of the shower and she's drying. So we just leave it like this. And we're gonna put a little powder blush. Now we're not gonna carry it too close to our nose. We're mostly gonna do it on the edge of our face. What do we think? Okay, I think she's cute. And then I'm gonna take a little highlighting brush. I have the ColourPop highlighter. I like my highlighters to be a little pink tinted because it goes in so well with my blush, I feel like. We're gonna not do too much. Just a little line here, and then you might think, oh, but the streaky highlighter, it's so obvious. Take your powder blush brush, circle around, and we're gonna highlight everything. This helps blend out that streaky line and gives you just a glow on the cheeks, okay? Remember how we didn't set this with anything but blush? That leaves all the glow that's in that blush formula right up on in there, okay? I know what I'm talking about, kind of. All right, now we're gonna take, this is a ColourPop little shadow. I really forget what she's called, but it's like a light gold one. Instead of doing like a bright inner highlight, I'm just gonna use the same shade that I use in the corner over the rest of my eye, and I think that makes it more cohesive. My favorite thing about this eyeshadow is the fact that ColourPop glitters don't crease, and I have oily eyelids, so my eyeshadow creasing during the day or like wiping off or transferring is kind of a common occurrence that I thought I just had to accept. No, you don't, baby girl. I have to do it under a little bit. There's a little bit of glitter. I feel like my face isn't gonna play well with the glitter. I'm sorry. Just a girl. I gotta stop saying that because that's deeply misogynistic, but it's also silly when a girly says it. But I hate the concept of like girl math because it makes it sound like women can't do math. And that upsets me. And that's just maybe that's just the woke mind virus talking. I don't know. But I don't know. When you go, oh, I'm just a girl, every time you make a mistake, it sounds like part of girlhood is constantly doing things wrong. And it just really infantilizes us as a whole. And I'm not a big fan of that. TBH, I love women. I love being a woman. And I don't like shit like that. Or like the girl dinner trend. Like, I'm sorry. That was just everyone showing off their eating disorders under a trend. Like, I'm sorry. If you're just eating like 3 Cheez-Its and like a mixed fruit cup, that's not a healthy meal. And you know that. And us labeling it as a girl dinner just takes down the seriousness of the issue that modern beauty standards often pressure women into thinking they can't eat or they have to work out an insane amount. And I'm a victim of that. I have anorexia. Like, I get it. I promise. This is not me being like on my high horse, being like, God, just eat. It's not me. But we as a society have really like perpetrated that. So then anytime there's a trend that's like, oh, I'm just a girl. It's just girls in there. This is just how women work. Girl math. It's just kind of like, it makes us look weak. And it's fine to be silly and funny, but then it makes men or whoever, misogynists, think that women genuinely can't do things. And I'm not saying like people are citing that trend as like citing that as like a reason to be misogynistic. I'm not saying that this is like a revolutionary idea. I'm just saying it doesn't help us, and we're already struggling. Women are a minority. By the way, I had an argument with about that because women are normally about 51% of the population. Here's the fucking thing. Being a minority is not about the number in the population. It can be, but that is not the only definition. So we're gonna do a little spritz. Okay, I got in my mouth a little bit. A minority is not just population. A minority includes representation. So if women are 51% of the United States population, they should be 51% of the government's representation. So when women are like 30% or less, I think actually it's more like 18% or something like that. I'm gonna look that up before I post this video. But that should mirror the population. So when it doesn't, that's a minority. Because like the United States is pretty diverse, but our Congress is not. Our Congress is mostly white men. And that makes anyone who's underrepresented a minority, regardless of how many of them there are. Because otherwise, you could just go into like a majority Hispanic population and be like, see, they're not minorities here. They don't have the same power overall in the country. Therefore, minority. Okay? Okay. And just because slavery isn't legal doesn't mean that there's not like racism and oppression. So let's can that right there, and let's not pretend that women aren't oppressed just because we have the right to vote. Guess what? Also, sorry, side note, I've seen people post like, men gave you that right. Yeah, men are the reason we didn't have it. Men took away slavery. White men are the reason we had it. Okay? And white women are the reason that it took so long for people of color, or like women of color, to be able to vote, because the women's suffrage movement put down women of color to boost up white women, and that was not the way to fucking go. So I don't remember how I got here on my feministic rant, but like, oppression is not just slavery or telling people they can't have jobs. It's things like the act that was just passed that says that like your social security card name has to match your birth certificate, which sounds fine and dandy until you realize that that means any woman who changed her name to her husband's name when she got married, which is also a pretty misogynistic tradition because it's supposed to say that she's his property now. It goes from her father's property to her husband's property. It essentially says that if those names don't match because you changed that name, you don't get to vote. And like there's ways around that. Yes, you can change your social security card or change your birth certificate to mirror the name, but the thing is those things cost money and they know that. So rights are continuously be taken away. And I don't want to hear anything about like how people aren't oppressed because women have the right to vote and we're allowed to have credit cards now. The fact that when my mom was born, her mom was not allowed to have a credit card in her name, horrifying. I gotta go get my lip stuff real quick. Okay, I'm using the ColourPop, I think it's like Best Friend 3, yeah, BFF 3 lip liner right now. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that when we are in a society where oppression is still very much a thing and stereotypes are very much a thing that affects certain groups of people, and when there are clear minorities who are at disadvantages due to their race or their gender or their sexuality or their age or whatever else, trends that belittle those groups of people as a joke are really damaging. So it's not the inability to take a joke, it's looking at the consequences of that joke. Because when you spread the idea that certain groups are less intelligent or lack a certain skill, you give people reasons to say that group of people is weaker. Okay? I just need us to recall that, especially those of us who are making fun of our own groups, because yes, it's funny to be a little dark humor, possibly a little self-deprecating at times, a little silly, but please don't reflect it on an entire group of people, because it just hurts them in the society that we live in. Like, it adds fuel to the fire when women are like, yeah, this is what girlhood looks like, because then you get awful male politicians who are like, see, the women want to go home, like, want to be in the home. I'm like, hello? Well, because girls will make jokes about marrying rich, and suddenly that's what it is. And I'm like, it will mirror itself in society. So just, with those kind of trends, know that they can cause harm. Okay? This is Revlon Rum Raisin. Sorry, I know I went on like a rant. I was supposed to be a glam video, but unfortunately that's probably what's going to happen on my channel a lot, where a video might start as something like self-care oriented, and then I might get on my little soapbox, because my whole existence should not just be that I know how to do makeup. And that's not what I want my whole mark on the world to be. I actually want this to not be what I'm known for, because I would like to become a prosecutor who defends sexual assault victims. So I would like to be known for that, because that's very underreported, because our court system tends to not prosecute very well on those. So I like to step it up so that women don't have to be scared to report the crimes that are committed to them. So I am going to get political sometimes, and that is not because I'm trying to like spread an agenda. It's because it's part of who I am, and that's part of who I want to be in the future, and that's not going to go away, unfortunately. So if you want just makeup videos, or just cleaning videos, or just whatever, I'm probably not the channel for that. This channel started because I was trying to give my trans friend advice on girlhood and all those years that she missed being stuck in a body that didn't match her on the inside. So this started from a like perspective that was not purely makeup. It's never been just a makeup account, and it never will be, as far as I'm the one, as long as I'm the one running it. It will never just be me trying to look cute and post a thirst trap, and that's the end. That's it. That's the end. That's not what this is going to be. It's just not. It was started for LGBTQ rights. I want to pursue women's rights, and so my content will often reflect that. Yeah. Anyways, I'm about to sell my soul to corporate America, so yeah, wish me luck.